So whenever we have a scene, we have to figure out what our emotion, our objective is, because that's going to create the behavior of the scene. There are lots of other principles that sort of factor in. For example, like who is the one leading the scene? Who's the powerful one of the two of you? And so as I was mentioning in one of the other earlier scenes, by you standing and sitting down and leaning forward, you give a lot of power to him. So like, for example, in the beginning of the scene, you need to be like you are right now. You needed to be more comfortable in his house than he is. Okay? Because by standing, it makes the two of you come off almost as equals. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it actually gives him a lot more power. I would have liked to have had him come in and see you in his home and just be there like you are now and let him do all of the work of being terrified. So by you sitting there and leaning into him and saying all of this stuff, you actually weaken your stance.
Okay.
One of the things that I'll talk about a lot in the class is a guy named Don Richardson who wrote that book that I was telling you about a moment ago when he first came in. And ironically, he called it the Godfather principle. Right? And he would say, the powerful people don't move. Instead of, for example, when you said, sit down, right? That made you come off as rather weak. Instead of, which is enough. He would know, right?
Yeah.
All you have to do is just look at the chair.
Yeah.
And we know how powerful you are based on his response. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So by being animated, by doing stuff, it actually takes away from your power. Okay? So that's just a general principle whenever you're playing powerful people. How terrified are you when he comes in, Nick?
Oh, I'm terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah, my heart's beating.
Mm-hmm.
This is over.
Yeah.
It's over.
Well, it's over, but there is, of course, that hope, because in the back of your head, you would be thinking, I think, well, he hasn't killed me yet.
So,
And so there is something there, right? I got some hope here. I could survive, and he's saying things to me like, I want you to go to Vegas. So you'd be holding on to that, right? Why do you need him to tell you? Why don't you just kill him?
Because it's my sister's husband, and I think I'm probably 98% sure, but to kill my sister's husband, I'd like to hear it from him.
Right. So the pressure of him telling you this is huge, right?
Yeah.
So we need to see almost a switch in you once he admits it.
Okay.
So, and from your perspective, it's almost like, okay, if I just come clean, then I'll definitely survive in some weird way. That's the way your character played. You did. But I think that, you've got to be way more terrified. I mean, whatever you were on the right track.
Yeah.
But you got to multiply it by 1 billion.
Okay.
That's how scared you are, because you know what's coming. You know that his brother is now dead.
Mm-hmm.
You know he's here with his cronies, and you just arrive and they're here. And you're just kind of looking around going, oh my God, he knows. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. The way I looked at it, where I made my mistake, because like I said, I hadn't seen it. So I was trying to be scared, but also keep my composure, because I am in this world. I didn't want to come off as like a weakling.
I like that.
But I like.
No, but I
that,
like the fact that you are trying to sort of stay calm and not be scared and hold my own. But the degree of terror or hysteria or panic or fear or whatever you picked was not even in the universe. Because you got to be sweating bullets.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when your knees are wobbling, okay, and that's what makes you so powerful is his behavior when he's around you.
Yeah.
So by you just kind of just being all amped and freaked out, and you just sitting there calmly, it says a lot up here. So what do you think he should be feeling in the scene, emotional, when he's around him? And you'll learn more about this.
Some sort of hunger for a confession, some sort of desire to get that out of him.
All right, so that's what your brain would be thinking.
Yeah.
Like, I want him to tell me the truth, or, I want to hear him say it or whatever. But what about emotional? Like, what would he be feeling? Is he filled with rage? Is he filled with anger?
Would excitement be a weird choice? Because I think if he admits it, I think that would be a load off to me. I've been waiting for years to kill him, and if he admits it, it's like, okay.
Well, I see your point. The only problem with that, for me, is that if you have this sense of a huge excitement about it, then it removes the power of the loss of your brother.
Yeah.
I mean, it just happened. So to me, I think emotionally you would either be in a state of shock or in a state of rage.
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 Yeah.
Okay, so the degree of the rage that you have is going to establish the connection you have with your brother.
Okay.
So that's why it has to be, penetrating, has to be blistering through the television as we're watching it in here.
Okay.
And the fun of me watching you is seeing how capable you are of containing the rage.
Got it.
That's going to be fun to watch, is to see, well, is he going to shoot him or not? Is he going to jump over the table and stab him? What is he going to do? And the fact that you don't do that, it says a lot about the kind of person you are.
Yeah.
That he's a plotter. He's also